Hello there. Yesterday I spent the afternoon with a Trafalgar Square full of freedom lovers, all saying no to these anti-freedom traffic restrictions coming down the tracks. During the recent health emergency, the local authorities took advantage of us all being trapped inside our homes and started redesigning our travel arrangements for us around the argument that we must have net zero personal transport for the new net zero 15 and 20-minute neighbourhoods they were planning to trap us into. And isn't it strange how all these local authorities across the land acted independently but in concert, as if driven by some shadowy external agenda? So it was great to see Trafalgar Square full of people making their voices heard. Peacefully, but forcefully. The show was kicked off right under Nelson's column by Alan Miller, to great applause.
We are here live, there's a camera now. We're live around the world. I'm with Nick Harlett. I'm Alan Miller from the Together Association. Nick Harlett from Action on ULEZ. Done great work with Phil and the others. We're all in London and we can see you. Big night!
And on the other side of the column were loads of protesters getting a warm reception from passing motorists. Now, I found myself trapped in the wings of the show, so despite our best efforts, people were accidentally jostling each other, so some of the camera work will be a bit dodgy, but I'll show you some of the highlights. And apologies for not showing everything, but there is a full live stream of the event, link in the descriptions box below, but be aware there were some sound issues. And as I was stood in the wings, those involved in running the event inevitably got in the way, but did apologise nicely for doing so. And who's this I see right behind me? It turns out we'd been filming in the same place for quite some time, before we realised we were both there. So we had a quick chat, then it was back to filming. Now, as I said, Alan Miller was basically the MC, and he was being helped by Phil Elliott, better known as ULEZ Phil, because he's been campaigning on this issue for years and years and years. And there were many more worthy names, but far too many to mention here. And there was representation from the Motorcycle Action Group, councils that would be affected, and also from Cambridge and Thetford. Howard Cox from Fairfuel UK was also there, as were two names you might have come across before, Lembit Opik and Dominic Frisby.
Who we've really got is someone else I've met relatively recently, who's, I met him before on TV many years ago, but we've had a bit of a kindred spirit moment recently. Someone who speaks very, very smartly on a range of issues to do with what's going on, always talks about things I don't quite understand actually, but what he is very brave. He's prepared to put himself on the line for his political convictions, even if it means not being with your friends anymore, which most people are not prepared to do. It is of course Lembit Opik, who's here from Transport Reality. Here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name's Lembit Opik, and I'm here because we have to draw a line in the sand between the rulers who are really our servants. We pay their salaries. We don't pay mine anymore, but the reality is they have lost touch with the public. The three reasons why the ULEZ expansion is utter nonsense is, number one, it's unscientific. It won't save 4,000 lives. It will cost lives and livelihoods, because people won't be able to look after their loved ones, because they're not going to spend 90 quid a week going round, and they're not going to be able to work on minimum wage in the area, because you're getting most of it to city can't. The second point here is it's undemocratic. Most people in London didn't want it in the first place, in reality, and in this survey, the result was clearly against it, even though he tried to fiddle the figures. And the third thing is It's unworkable for a city that you cannot run on bicycles and foot alone. A first world country needs first world transport and first rate politicians, and we haven't got any of those three at the moment. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm here because thanks to Alan Miller and the team, this is the real authentic government in waiting for this country. And I would love to see a situation where if you don't have Together Association support, you don't get elected. Sadiq Khan, in conclusion, is even cheekier than I am. Thinking that he can force something on this country because it goes from London to the rest of the country that we don't want. Ladies and gentlemen, I pay homage to you for taking the trouble to speak up and be counted. And the message should be, if you ignore the will of the public will ignore you in the ballot box. Thank you.
Thank you, Lembit. Someone who's very funny and is a freedom fighter and a campaigner, but he's also a comedian. He's also a writer, very witty. I want you to give a big London and outside and international warm welcome for Mr. Dominic Brisbane.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and despite being a comedian, I have absolutely nothing funny to say to you in this speech now. Sadiq Khan is the worst type of politician. Vain, he's egotistical, and he knows better than you. And he doesn't listen to those who have a different worldview to him. Instead, he smears them. They're far right, they're conspiracy theorists, they're racists. He's supposed to represent all Londoners, but he is not interested in your concerns if they're different to his. You are just an enemy. Like a devious and conniving solicitor, he is the master conflator, dealing in half-truths, in fabrication and deceit. London is the greatest city in the world, he says, but look at what it's become under his watch, the knife crime capital of the world. Locals are priced out, taxed into oblivion, and then besmirched if they dare speak out. How is buying a brand new electric car that requires tons and tons of cobalt and lithium and copper and nickel and other metals you don't even know the names of, neodymium and dysprosium, which means tank after tank of oil has to be burnt, never mind all the coal, sending black plumes into the air, risking lives, often children's lives, in some far-flung corner of the planet, then the ecological cost of transporting it to China, Chinese factories and back. How is that more environmentally friendly than simply keeping the car that you already have? How is that green? The environmental movement has been hijacked by crony capitalism. People ask, what is our system of rule? Is it a democracy when a mayor can impose new taxes with no democratic mandate? Is it a bureaucracy? Is it a kleptocracy? I'll tell you what it is. Our system of rule is a hypocrisy. London is open, he says. No, it isn't. He's literally closing it down. And what will he use this money he collects from you for, this new tax money for? More waste, more stupid schemes that impinge on your freedom, more imposition of the Khan world view, more rainbow flags on the tubes, more planning, more bureaucracy, more corruption, more state. The state will keep on growing. It is always growing. And if you dare speak out against, you're a far-right racist, homophobe, fascist, sexist, conspiracy theorist bigot. Sadiq Khan hates you. And he hates the English, and he will not rest until the London that we once knew and loved has totally gone. And that is all you need to know. Thank you.
And with Lembit Opik being a former Lib Dem MP, you'd thought he'd have been on the other side of the fence. But hey-ho. And former Tory London mayoral hopeful Sean Bailey was there, as well as new Tory hopeful Samuel Kisumu, not forgetting Tory MP for Orpington Gareth Bacon. Now this is just a flavour of proceedings, so why not come along to the next one and find out for yourself? All I can say was it was a great afternoon, and beers in the pub later was entertaining, and then up popped one Piers Corbyn. Now on a serious note, unless this ULEZ expansion is either nipped in the bud right now or shut down under a new mayor, this whole travel-stopping shebang is coming to a city, town, then village near you very, very soon. Now you may say you don't do politics, or you don't have time for politics. All I can say is that if you don't do politics, politics will do you.